Alright, today let's make some mayo. It's a pretty basic recipe, but I'm going to show you two different methods on how to make it today. This recipe is a real lifesaver if, for example, you need mayonnaise, but you don't have any, because chances are you have all the stuff that you need to make it laying around. Additionally, when you make mayonnaise yourself, you have full control over how it tastes. You can kind of fine-tune the flavor by adjusting the oil or vinegar that you use, or you can even add additional ingredients like chipotle or garlic. Now, as I said, I'm going to show you two different methods. One method is a super simple method if you have an immersion blender or any other type of blender, and the other is the traditional way of making it by hand, in case you don't have a blender available. Now, I'm also going to take this opportunity to show you two different types of mayonnaise with each method. One is the classic mayonnaise recipe, and the other is the Mexican style mayonnaise with lime juice that I came across from my years of living in Tucson. And this one's perfect for like elotes or Sonoran hot dogs. All right, so let's start with the classic recipe and do it by hand. Now, I want to preface this by saying that this may look daunting, but it's actually very, very simple. So to make this mayonnaise, the first thing we're gonna need is an egg yolk. Sorry, it's a little bit out of focus here. My camera's being repaired and I totally booched this. Next, we wanna add about 1/4 teaspoon of salt and about 2 teaspoons or a few squirts of Dijon mustard. Now for this recipe, we need some sort of acid. And so I used the juice from 1/2 of a lemon, but you do have some freedom here. If you prefer, or you only have some distilled vinegar, that will work. Or if you wanna use something else, you really have total freedom here. We basically just need something acidic or sour here. All right, so pour the lemon juice in and give this a mix. And now I'm ready to add in some oil. Specifically, we're gonna add about 3/4 cup of a neutral oil, something like vegetable oil or canola oil. I really don't recommend something like olive oil that has too strong of a flavor, but this is a perfect opportunity to experiment around. So if you want to use a blend of olive oil and neutral oil, you might actually end up with a pretty tasty mayonnaise. Feel free, in the future to kind of change the oils and, blend different stuff to make a mayonnaise that's really yours. All right, so now we want to actually start mixing in this oil. To do this, we're gonna whisk the egg yolk mixture and slowly pour in the oil a little at a time. If you pour it in all at once, it'll be very hard to whip up and it won't really come together easily. So we're just gonna drip this with one hand and whisk with the other. Now again, this might seem it's a real pain in the butt, but it's actually not too bad. After about 90 seconds, all the oil should be poured in and you should have nice fluffy mayonnaise. Now just pour this into a ramekin or a small bowl and place this into the fridge to firm up. And that's basically the classic method, but let's move on to the easy method for making mayonnaise. Now, as I stated before, I'm gonna make kind of a Mayonesa version, which has lime juice as the souring component. Let's just go ahead and start. This time I'm gonna add a full egg, because why not? Again, we're gonna add about 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And now the beauty of this method is we really don't need to worry about which order we place the ingredients in. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dump in my 3/4 cup of canola oil, and I'm gonna add some chipotle for a smoky character, as well as some crushed garlic for some extra punchiness. For the acid this time, I'm gonna be using the juice of 1 lime. All right, with all the ingredients in there, it's blendy time. The immersion blender is just so efficient at whipping the air in here that we really don't need to slowly pour in like we did before. Just blitz this for a few seconds and you should start to get a nice mayonnaise after a few seconds. Again, I'm gonna put this into the fridge for a little bit so that it solidifies and some of the flavors can kind of come together. But you can use this immediately if you want to, but I think it's a little better if you let it sit for a day. And basically that's it. That's the recipe for mayonnaise. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please do me a favor if you found it interesting, please consider sharing it or subscribing. Either of those things really help. Yeah. All right, well, I hope to see you guys all next week. All right, bye.